Hi, Tomas. It's lovely to be talking to you again. Yeah, I'm Alan Leach. I'm the chief executive of Westwood Clubs in Dublin. I'm also the head of sales and marketing of 6 clubs. Just a little bit about Westwood Club. We have, as of today, 39,500 members at the 6 Westwood Clubs. We've 3 clubs, which are your multi-facility big clubs with swimming and tennis and group fitness and all those sorts of things, and childcare. And then we've 3 clubs that would be smaller, that wouldn't have the racket sport. So the big clubs would be 150,000 square feet to 250,000 square feet. The smaller clubs would be 30,000 square feet. And like everybody in Poland and everywhere else, we went through the challenges of COVID and recessions and everything else. But we've been in business for about 33 years. And as I say, I'm the chief executive. We have 500 employees. And I also look after all the sales and marketing as well.
So, I suppose from what I recall, we're going to talk about pricing. We're going to talk about sales and marketing on your speaking session. So what you will focus on, what you're focusing right now in your clubs, what you think people should change in their strategies, in few words, just to make them curious.
Well, I think what I'll be talking about is pricing and how you can charge more for the fitness services you provide. I say this when I speak. This presentation I gave at URSA, and there were so many people interested in it because everybody was thinking about how do you increase your prices and charge more, because if you don't charge enough, you're not going to be profitable. And if you want to be more profitable, the easiest way to do that is to increase your prices. But most of us in the fitness industry for a very long time, we're very nervous about changing our prices. I often say to people the 3 best things that happened in the fitness industry in the last 15 years was COVID, the energy crisis, and inflation. And I've said that many times because where people might have been nervous about putting up their prices, particularly when the budget clubs were out there, because of COVID, because of the energy crisis, and because of inflation, people were forced to put up their prices. Many chains were forced to put them up 2 and 3 times. And they discovered that they were fine and we're not losing members. And we will be typical of that. That's what I'll be sharing, how we took very, very significant jumps in prices over the last 3 years, and we've actually sold more memberships, and the impact on profit has been just huge. With sales and marketing, good sales and marketing, a good product and good pricing, we've gone from like 24 million to 35 million. And a huge part of that is this ability to be able to increase your prices. And what I'd like to share with the people that are there is, don't be nervous about increasing your prices. You will be absolutely fine. And the presentation that I do, a lot of the research is not from the fitness industry. I robbed a lot of research from other industries and academics about how you can use pricing to dramatically increase profit. So a lot of it was the supermarket industry. The luxury goods industry is a big one. The luxury goods industry is booming at the moment, really, really booming. And when you hear people pay, 430,000 for a Hermes handbag, you go, how are people getting away with that? But when I run our clubs, Tomas, I've tended to always study other industries. I haven't really studied just the fitness industry. I've looked what Disney have done, Ritz-Carlton have done, Hermes, all of these famous brands. What did they do with their pricing? Apple. But all of the research, and a lot of it's coming out of Germany, by the way, is showing you can dramatically increase your prices without affecting sales, and dramatically. And that you can see it happening a lot. People have decided you don't have to go down to the lowest price to sell. But what I'll also be discussing is half will be sales and marketing and how to make that happen, because the secret of increasing your price is, create value, increase your prices, but it's very important. You've got to be able to communicate that value as well. And we do that through using professional sales teams, professional sales training, really good marketing. But it's the biggest lesson I've learned in the last 35 years in the fitness industry, is how you can increase your prices and really not affect your membership numbers at all, or the number of people that are buying.
So according to this price increasing process and so on, what is the crucial part in marketing about it? In creating marketing about changing the price, or creating a successful marketing that helps you sell it on those new prices and so on?
Great question, Tomas. I look, it's like the chicken and the egg thing. You've got to have good sales and marketing systems, and you've got to have them in place. And if you have them in place, that's professional sales training, like what you do, Tomas. You measure KPIs and very good KPIs, and it lets you know that you're in a strong position, because most of your competitors won't do that. But if you have strong sales and marketing in place, and then when you increase your price, you'll see very, very quickly that it doesn't affect the number of sales that you have. But it really comes down to the brand and the club and the company. If you think that you have bad service and you have bad facilities, that you can just increase your price and get away with it, that's difficult. You've got to be seen to be reinvesting in your club. You've got to be seen to reinvest in your programs. You've got to get that out in social media that you're constantly reinvesting.
So you should show the wind of change, and then
yes,
after it, you can move with the new pricing because of it.
I mean, it's probably too late now, but I was telling people this, that the pricing increases usually work if you have a genuine reason for increasing the price. Because when you increase the price, you're looking at two markets. Your current members, when you're increasing their price, and what impact it will have on them. And then there's your future potential members. And it's less likely to have an impact on them, because contrary to what everybody believes, everybody doesn't know the price of everything. They simply don't. But if you're going to go to your current members and say, we're increasing the prices by 14 or 15%, there's a slight risk in that. So they're two different communication strategies. Going to your current members and saying, particularly when you have 38, 39,000 members, that we're increasing the price significantly. The ideal time to have done that was with the energy crisis, with inflation, because you go with a message that says we have to increase our prices. But everybody does it. It's not just in the fitness industry. But I think for health clubs, you do have to look at your current membership and what impact it will have. And everybody I've talked to in the industry that has done their price increases, it is minimal, really minimal, unless you've got a very bad service. And then with sales, and I talk about the strategy at the presentation, we increased our joining fees over the last 10 years. These are the entrance fees, the joining fee before you pay a monthly. We've increased that from 200 to 699. Now, we use that as an anchor to sell. And one of the great things about having a high joining fee is your monthly fee doesn't come into the equation as much. But you've got to think
the average price, for example, during the year is like it's going up because of the joining fee.
Well, no, we would have a joining fee, right? That a lot of people would know about, because we're a premium price club. So we charge $6.99, then we charge $99 a month on average, because we have a couple of different types of memberships. But generally with the joining fee, it takes their attention away from the monthly fee, and we can play around with that joining fee then. And that's what we play around with to close the sale, is that high joining fee.
Yeah.
But we go for an average joining fee, if I'm being honest, Tomas, of about 149 or 150, because we have kids that pay less than everything else. But I'll go into more detail of that in the presentation.
Yeah, of course.
But because they've no choice. They've no choice.
We have an example of clubs in Poland that started as a automated low budget, maybe not low budget in terms of the club standard, because the club standard was quite okay, even quite high, I would say. But we have a brand which is called CityFit. Yeah. And during the last 2 years, you could say they doubled or even tripled some of their pricing. So it's a lot.
See, the thing about pricing is you have the premium and you have the budget, or what we call the low cost. Generally, if you look at other industries, supermarkets, cars, anything, there's usually room for only one budget player, or at best two. Whereas if you're at the premium end, you can have a lot of players, different brands charging different prices at the premium end, and just positioning a product differently, and a lot of them can survive. But what happens is, when you've got the MacFit and the Planet Fitness, you try and go up against them when you've only got 3, 4, 5 clubs. You've got a challenge on your hands. You really, really have, because you don't have the economies of scale to be able to pay your rent and pay back your equipment and pay all the things you have to pay.
That's true. In terms of sales, what you would say about sales in general, to what people will what they will hear about, what they will learn when they come to you?
Look, I've been in sales for 35 years, and I've always looked at the fitness industry as a sales business. You happen to sell health club memberships. And it's been very successful for me over the last 30 years. And I think when you compete in the market, you're competing against all of these different brands. What competitive advantage do you have? What tools do you have that you can outsell, outmarket them? And for us, it hasn't changed a whole lot. We're very good on sales training. Our salespeople are paid very well. They get a lot of sales training. Unfortunately, because of that, they can get snapped up by the big companies like Google and Microsoft and Facebook. But we really treat the sales process very professionally. And in the last few years, as far as lead generation and getting new leads, obviously we've got very, very good at digital marketing. And I try and keep things simple. When I say to people, think about digital marketing, it's just a very efficient way to get sales leads compared to what you would have done 15 to 20 years ago. We currently get about 3,800 new leads per month through our website, and that's with SEO. And we've actually turned
on 150 per club per month.
Yeah. And the bigger clubs that do more, the website. And that's all true. I'll give you an idea. I turned off paid advertising just after COVID, and I haven't put it back on yet because we're getting so many leads. And the other thing then is marketing automation software. We use very good, we use Microsoft Dynamics for sales. We use Click Dimensions. I have looked at Salesforce and HubSpot.
So we will see some tools, some online tools, how to help to generate leads, and they will listen about the let's call it the organic strategy, the strategy of organic lead generation, not paid leads.
Yeah. Well, we do both. It's just I've turned it off because I know it's a terrible complaint, but it's actually difficult to keep up with all the leads because, look, I've been in this business when you used to go out in the street, Tomas, and beg on the computer in the morning, and there's 100 new leads, 200 leads a day coming in. And we've got all our salespeople. The way, and I'll share this with people, I share the strategies, the tactics, the techniques, the actual software we use, everything, and I'll share the emails we send. But when somebody goes onto our website and gives us their details, we use humans to phone them. We send SMS messages, we send email, and the simple goal is to get that person to put their foot in our club. And when they come into our club, then we've salespeople there to tour them, to do a consultation and persuade them to join.
This process is working, and it's not only on the paper.
You have to do it. And you have to measure your KPIs. You have to watch your figures. You have to watch your percentages. You're constantly training salespeople because somebody might leave. But the real things that have made a difference in the last, particularly last 4 or 5 years, is the use of marketing automation software. That's made a huge difference. But you really need to know what you're doing, because I've seen people buy HubSpot and never use it, and because with any of these softwares, you've still got to do the work. You've got to write the content.
Nobody will do it, for you. You need to do it yourself.
You have to do it yourself. HubSpot, Salesforce, Oracle, any of them, are not going to say, here's the content. They'll just provide you with the tools. And it's like, and I'll share this as well, it's like content marketing and SEO and everything else. You've still got to do the content. Now that has got somewhat easier. Obviously ChatGPT is making things a little easier, but that can be dangerous as well, because if you rely too much in those things, you can end up with content that's very similar to everybody else.
And that's the question. Are you using any AI tools in Westwood Clubs at the moment?
My brother's got a PhD in computer science, and so I ask him a lot. I'm cautious. I definitely use them for tidying up content that I have written. Tidy it up, look at it, but you'd be surprised how many times, Tomas, I've gone back to the original content. So it can help with that, yeah. But there's a lot of AI out there. Look, probably the way I'd say it to you is this, Thomas, when I'll tell anybody, when it applies to digital marketing, direct marketing, sales, all of these things, is to learn the stuff and try and understand it before you put it in place. Like I've seen for years where people jumped on an app, jumped on this. They never stop to think, what does this tool do? Do I actually need it? What's involved in getting it up and running? And they don't do that.
Went for it. Yeah.
Just went for the latest shiny object without thinking. And you know, Tomas, I say this, and I see it in our clubs because I say we've 500 employees, is people can get hooked on these things. And then every day at their fitness club, there's nobody looking after their members. You know, no technology is going to improve on your front desk talking to your staff, knowing their names, asking people that they need help. You know, and technology is great. It's great if it makes the job easier. Look, I'll share with you, Tomas. I won't name the brand because I get somebody into trouble. I've seen where managers have bought software because they were told it will do something, whether it's design a program or book a member in or whatever. They've jumped on that software and they find out 6 months later that using the software, it takes 3 times as long as it did before they bought the software, because it can get complicated, and software is designed sometimes by people that don't know the industry, and then people jumped on things because they said, oh, it could do all these reports, and then no one ever looks at those reports.
They went for the shiny thing, but in the end, simple is better.
Well, yeah, and always go back to this. How profitable are you? That's the real thing. How many members are you getting? Are you getting more than you want? Or is it successful every day? Are you highly profitable? And look at all of the tools that you can use to make that happen. And, you know, I'm in marketing a long, long time. And, you know, what they call old marketing, new marketing. But, and this is very important, all of these tools can be useful if they're used in the right way. You know, copywriting and writing good copy's been around for hundreds of years, and that doesn't change. Like, I'll give you an interesting one. And I had a meeting with somebody who's in the gaming industry, and he's heavily involved in paid for advertising, and they have a budget of well over $1 million a year. A big, huge gaming company. And he said the same thing happens is no matter how technologically advanced it gets, Alan, our biggest shortage is people who are creative, who can write the content. He said, you get all of these algorithms, you get all of these reports, you get all of these dashboards, but no matter what you do, whether it's Google, whether it's Facebook advertising, Instagram, you still need creative content. And that's where a lot of people face challenges. So those kind of old marketing, and even with old marketing, thinking about how you position in the market, how are you going to create a competitive advantage? Should you still advertise in billboards? Should you just use digital? And some of those companies, like the gaming companies, are looking at digital as a way of just getting leads and aren't necessarily relying on it for branding and positioning and brand awareness. They're still using some of the old tools.
Mm-hmm. So I think this is also a quite interesting topic to talk about during the session. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. No, I'll be sharing a lot. Everything, like, you know, Tomas, when I present, I share how we do it, what we do, what tools we use. I usually send people all the links and everything where you can find.
So you're opening your doors to your knowledge. Then, yeah.
Yes.
So in few sentences, you know, just to sum up, when people will attend your speaking session, what they will get in, you know, like on those main focus points, key points, what they will get.
Well, if I was to sum it up in one sentence, I'll show them how we went from a company that was practically bankrupt to a company with 6 clubs doing 36 million euros a year. I'll show them how we went from pre-COVID at 33,000 members to 39,500 with 2 price increases in between. So I'll share everything. And the interesting thing they will see will be the pricing one. And then I will tell them how, look, don't be afraid, put your systems in. And you don't... I'll share with them some of the simple things they need. A strong sales system, particularly if you're in the premium end or even the mid-price. 2, good digital marketing, and that's not as complicated as you might think it is. It's getting easier. And 3, how to increase your price and the huge, huge impact that can have on profitability. Because one thing you'll see on the presentation is if you're breaking even and you're profitable, every euro or zloty that you put onto your price is generally going to the bottom line. And a lot of research will show that if you can increase your prices, you know, by 7-8%, you can increase profitability by 25, 30, 35%, because the huge portion of that is going to your bottom line. And that's what allows you buy more equipment, buy more programs, reinvest,
move on with this reinvesting process to keep the pricing even higher, so you can just
Yes, 100%.
You can start the whole process, and it's your decision when you're going to stop.
Yes, and that's what we're doing now. We're literally investing in the facilities because of the extra revenue that's been coming in.
And last question, which will be not so important. How many people from Poland is on your staff? Like in percentage?
We've a lot. I don't know off the top of my head. We've a lot of Polish staff, and we've a lot of Polish staff over the years, and we've a lot of Polish staff that, like, I'll give you an idea. We have Polish staff that work for us, and sometimes their children who are now in their late teens come in to see their mummy or their daddy or whatever. And I'm always amazed that when they come in, you expect a Polish accent off the children. They have a thick Dublin accent. They don't.
Dublin accent.
Yeah, Dublin accent. And I've asked a few of them. And then some of the Polish say, we tried to get them to speak Polish, Alan, but they're in school. And which I would say it could be 15% Polish, easily. 15, 20%, yeah. We've a lot of Brazilians now, a lot of Polish. We've a couple of people that actually, one guy who runs our car wash is Polish. Yeah, a lot, yeah.
A lot of.
Some of them went back in COVID, but.
Yeah, I know that person. But because why I'm asking, because it is a little bit connected with the topic, because, somebody would say it's a matter of culture in terms of sales and so on. I would say no. 20% of Alan's employees are Polish people. So
come here. Look. I've taught sales and marketing all over the world, and I hear the difference in culture. I say, look, you go into Dublin. There are some people that think it's a different culture on the north side of Dublin than it is the south side of Dublin. It's not. It's how they're running their club. The desire to be in shape, to be stronger, to be fitter, to be healthier is the same generally where you go. And
that's the main sentence that you just said, that the desire of being, fit and healthy, it's like everywhere, it's the same.
Yeah. And when people used to say to me, I remember somebody questioned me from, it was Pakistan, they said there's only 1% of the market goes to gyms. And I remember saying to him, that's good news, because if you look at every other country that's going up, there's a huge potential there. Like I remember when the penetration rate in Ireland was 1 or 2%, and in America it was 7 or 8%. Now you look at the US, and it's 22%, UK 13 or 14%. And I am definitely seeing a huge increase from average people who want to go to gyms. Huge increase in the number of young people going to gyms, and they do not mind paying. They're happy to pay.
Yep. So let's stick to that, and we will hear and listen more at your speaking session in May.
It's been an absolute pleasure, Thomas, and I promise you I'll share some really, really good insights with the people there. How to do it, how to be more profitable, how to get the memberships. I'll share the sales, the marketing, everything.
I hope so. Okay, thank you, Alan. So I think we're going to stay in touch, as I said, and see you in May.
Thank you, Tomas. I'll see you in May.